Would you like to add some fun, grab more attention, and retain more content in your sales and training meetings? I can help. Just stay tuned after this episode to find out how.
Welcome to the 10-Minute Car Sales Talk Podcast, where it's all about life in the car business. Telling you like it is, here's the man with the plan, Terry Cameron.
Welcome back to another episode of the 10-Minute Car Sales Talk Podcast. I'm Terry Cameron. Before we get started this week, I want to remind you to go to my website, the 10-Minute CarSalesTalk.com website. Hit that free trial button for a free trial of Game Show Presenter Gold. This is not a moneymaker for me. This is just something I thought that my listeners would like to use in their training. It's a lot of fun. And if you listen after this morning's show, I'll tell you a little bit more about it. Also, hop on over to iTunes. Give me that review. I like to read your comments, and I really do appreciate your feedback. You can find me also on Facebook, LinkedIn, and let's get started. Today, we're going to follow up from last week's episode where we talked about setting up the negotiations. Now we're going to talk about actually negotiating. And what I mean by that is the pencil, the foursquare, whatever we may use to show the customer the numbers. Now, before we get started with that, you need to know this. Nothing that we talk about when it comes to negotiating and closing will work very well if you didn't do the rest of your job. You know, you greeted them properly and professionally. You built some rapport with them. They laughed. They like you. You investigated their wants and needs. You did a very good presentation based on their wants and needs. And then you took them for a test drive also based upon their wants and needs. Remember, that demo is very, very important. That's where the emotion takes place. That's where they take total mental ownership of the vehicle. And we need that because when we come inside and we sit down, the ether is going to wear off really quick. And if we didn't do a good demo, good luck in closing them. And if you do close them, good luck making any kind of gross. So again, you have to do the entire job from front to back. In his book, Never Split the Difference, Chris Voss talks about an FBI agent that was a hostage negotiator. And you know, a hostage negotiator, that's, you know, there's a lot at stake there. And he says the biggest mistake negotiators make is they don't identify the most important person in the negotiations. And in this case, it's the person holding the hostage. You have to sell that person who's holding the hostage if you want to have a successful end to the negotiations. And we have to do the same thing. We need to make sure that we're not the one that's important. Our numbers aren't the important numbers. Our dealership, myself as a salesperson, I'm not the important person. The focus should not be on me. It should be on the customer. Because the customers really, they're buying you and the dealership, not just your car, they're also buying a solution to a problem that they have. So you have to know what that problem is and keep that on the forefront. The customer is the most important person in the negotiations. Let's talk about them. You just came back off of a test drive. Your customers love the vehicle. You did a few trial closes. You're walking into the building. You're trying one more final trial close, and you're going to ask them, hey, you guys want something hot or cold to drink while we wrap up the paperwork? Who cares what they say, hot or cold? They just agreed to wrap up the paperwork. Now we got to sit down. We got to put all our information into the CRM, and we got to get to the sales manager. Remember how we do that. We're not going to get numbers. We are going to check availability. You get back from the manager, and because they said they're ready to do business right now, you tell them, great news, car's available. And because you're ready to do business right now, my manager took the liberty of drawing up some numbers for you, and here they go. Now, managers, your pencil cannot go out with no money down, 72 months, and a low interest rate. It just doesn't make sense. If you do that, chances are, and I mean almost every time, your customer is going to negotiate from there. If you went out to the longest term and you don't have any money down and you're at the lowest rate, where do you go from there? Next thing you know, you're showing a customer an 84-month pencil, and if they purchase it there, you just took them out of the market for 4 or 5 years. You might as well put an address on the front of their car because that's what it's going to be, is a mortgage. You will never see them again, except when they're in there for their maintenance. So your pencil should go out with short-term, relatively large down payment, and several different options. So I have like a number that I work with. Anything that's under $20,000, I send out as 36 and 48 months. I send it out with 10, 20, and 30% down. And I send it out at an average interest rate, somewhere around 8 or 9%, regardless what the customers told me they can get from their bank. So remember, the number one thing of this first pencil is not to close the customer. It's to get their thinking up. But you may close them on that first pencil. You never know. Remember what I said, ask for it all, take what you can get. If you don't ask for it, you're not going to get it. So you go out there with the pencil. You have 36 and 48 and maybe 60 months. And you have 10, 20, and 30% down. The first number you need to talk to with this customer is the shortest term with the most money down. And the reason I ask you to do that is because, number one, it's going to get their thinking up, but that's where we want to start, at the highest number. Because if we start there, we have some room to negotiate down. So you're going to go out and you're going to tell the customer, great news, car is available, and here are the numbers. With $6,000 down, 48 months, your payments are going to be $860 a month. Chances are the objection you're going to get is on down payment first, especially if you're in a market like mine. Customers are going to say, there's no way, you're crazy. I can't put $6,000 down. Remember, we talked about this on the lot, and hopefully you didn't entertain any of that on the lot. You just let it go in one ear and out the other. Your next statement should be something like this. Well, no problem. How close to $6,000 can you get? And just hop on down to the next option. Maybe $4,000 or $4,500? Again, chances are they're not going to say that either. But the entire time you're doing this, their $500, $1,000 initial down payment they had in their head is getting bigger and bigger. And you have a chance to close them, who knows, maybe $1,500, $2,500. The other thing you can tell them is, hey guys, you know what happens when your down payment goes down. You just look at them and say, yes, you're right. The payments go up. Again, you're just conditioning them for the next pencil. If you can't close them there on any of those, just get back to the desk with an offer to purchase right now. Find a down payment and find a payment they can work with. Let me back up just a little bit. The last thing you want to ever say to the customer is asking them, how much money do you want to put down? Let me ask you this. How much money do you want to put down? None, right? So don't give them that option. It's always, how close to this number can you get? And you work your way down. Go back to the manager, to the desk, get your second pencil, go on out there, and do the exact same thing again. Congratulations. I think we're there. My manager went ahead and gave us some new numbers, and they're a lot better than I thought they were going to be because I didn't think we had anywhere to move. Now, managers, what I recommend is you do not negotiate in increments of $500 or $1,000. You negotiate in increments of $200 to $300. It legitimizes your initial numbers. And if you can drop the price $2,000 or $3,000 from the first pencil to the second, what is that telling them? That's kind of hard to earn their trust when you have that kind of room to move. So work with $200 to $300. If you work with $200 to $300, it also sets them up for them to work with numbers in the $200 to $300 range. So you send them back out there. Chances are it's not going to be the number they want, but that's okay. Their thinking is up. They want this vehicle. You go out there, present those figures, and maybe now you're at 60 or 72 months and with a little less down. Not quite where they want to be, but you have to do it. Most of the time, as long as you practice this right and do it the right way, you will close your customer on the second pencil. If not, the third pencil that goes out should be with a manager taking it, a floor manager, or a senior salesperson going over the final pencil. Unless, of course, the third pencil is going to get that customer exactly what they want. Then just write on there, congratulations, let them sign it, and get them on out of there. Busting bugs, headed down the road. All right, so let's review real quick. You've done your job. You've done a presentation demonstration. Your first pencil is going out short term with large down payments, and hopefully more than one option, 2 to 3 options with 10, 20, 30% down, and with 24, 36, and 48 months. That gives you something to negotiate with. Remember, the more options that are on that page, the better chance you have of them choosing one of those. You go back to the second pencil, you're going to come right back out and do the exact same thing. Just work your way down. Sound confident. If you sound confident presenting the figures, your customers are going to feel a little bit more at ease in accepting those as being the best numbers. The only way that you can do this, guys, is you have to practice it, and you have to practice it doing it right. Recently at my dealership, we did some role playing on this, and it was obvious that we need practice. So that's what we're doing. Everybody was presenting the figures a different way. It needs to be one way, and that's the right way. And if you practice the right way, you have to admit, if you do it over and over again, you're just going to get better and better at it. But if you're practicing this with your customers the wrong way, you're going to get better and better at doing it the wrong way. That's not the way to make money and have fun and sell more cars. You have to practice. So short term, big down payments, work in increments of $200 or $300, not $500, $1,000, and sound confident when you're presenting these figures. I think if we do all this stuff, and I challenge you to do it, our numbers are going to go up, you're going to make more money, and you're going to have a lot more fun. So until next week, remember, the sky's the limit. I'll see you then.
Thanks for listening to this week's podcast. Please rate it on iTunes and visit the 10minutesalestalk.com website to send an email. We appreciate your valuable feedback, and don't forget to share the show with a friend.
Trainers, managers, and teachers, are you looking for a way to add fun to your training while keeping 100% of the focus of your class? I can help you because I discovered a tool that is attention magic. I've been using this tool for over 7 years and it's always a hit. I'm talking about Game Show Presenter Gold software. The amazing thing is that it makes it fun for people to pay attention, and people do pay attention to something that's challenging, competitive, and fun. Here's how it works. Game Show Presenter is a multimedia template. You just choose one of the built-in game show formats, then customize it with questions and answers about your topic, and your game is ready to play. The software handles the music, graphics, and scorekeeping. Game Show Presenter works with almost any audience, but for training salespeople, it's a blast because their competitive nature kicks in and they get a chance to show what they know and sometimes embarrass themselves a bit for what they don't know. Either way, the game makes for a memorable experience. I have a link to the Game Show Presenter software on my website, so come check it out. I've arranged for my listeners to get a 10% discount off the $99 one-time price. So be sure to use the buy link on my page, 10minutesalestalk.com. Game Show Presenter Gold. It'll transform your next training session like magic.